friend Dr. Johnson, members of the Rotary Club of Margao Sunrise, on and off the dais, persons who have been felicitated today, and my dear friends. Dr. Johnson has brought about a question which most Goans need to ponder and find an answer to. That whatever wrong that we see in society today, who is responsible? Basically, he has provoked you to find your own answer for this question. And as a politician, and especially as an opposition legislator, I feel Dr. Johnson's oratory could have been better used, more than whatever good work he has been doing now. It could have been used more in governance, and it is the government that's responsible. Today we have more than 650 deaths in Goa, a state which was supposedly green, where the chief minister of our state advertised that ours is a green zone and invited people with their second homes from Delhi, which was a red zone, into our green zone to make it red. And to ensure that within this 3-4 months, 650 people died. This is the position we are in. Who is responsible? Which nation-building teacher who has been felicitated here is responsible for this? See, we have a government and a chief minister who feels, I don't know who tells him this or who advises. I think Nelly should know that better. Many times I find her also with him these days. He has actually chosen the teaching community as the main target during this entire pandemic. He first sent them for a survey. The reason for this survey was known to none. What came out of the survey is also not known to none. Nobody could ever understand why was the survey, other than perhaps the BJP getting some few numbers so that they have their own data bank during the elections. So the teachers were collecting data for the BJP social media team. This is what it ended up. And the state is being used like a personal fiefdom. The salary, the granting aid is as if it's coming from the coffers of the ruling party and not the coffers of the government. So we have this peculiar situation where we are faced with a pandemic, where the issue is between lives and livelihoods to strike a balance. And we have an irresponsible government, a government which unfortunately we ourselves elected. There is a saying that we get the government we deserve. So perhaps because of our nonchalance or lack of interest in politics, we don't give too much of an importance as to whom we cast our vote for. See, when we are going to a dentist or we are going to a lawyer or to a doctor, I think we go into his biodata as if we are going to get married to him. Either the doctor is good or this, that. 100 things we check before going to a doctor. But when going to vote for somebody, we don't at all think much about it. And that person who gets elected decides your fate, your destiny for those 5 years and perhaps for generations to come. Because he can, basically jack up the whole trajectory for the future. So irreversibly that the damage cannot be undone by the next person who succeeds him. We are in that type of a situation in Goa. So the question is, who is responsible? As much as the government being responsible for what we are suffering today, it is also we the people who, with our careless attitude and our, how does it matter to us, this type of an attitude, we allow such governments to rule us. Presently, as much as the pandemic, we have a situation where coal is said to be the hub. A coal hub is supposed to be the future of our state. And we are being told by a chief minister, no, he has got an assurance from the minister. A minister who is a Gujarati, I am not against Gujaratis incidentally, but who will certainly be an employee of Adani. And he is the guy who gets the coal into Goa. So now that guy is going to come here and promise our Goans, now that I'm going to have a cap on that. He's not even going to say cap. I'm going to reduce or minimize the extent of coal import in the state. Now the coal, this same coal import and its connection to deaths during COVID, especially in Vasco area. There's been a lot of, I think doctor will know better, but certainly there is a correlation. Yesterday in the NGT, the Delhi government has submitted this, that coal is a pollutant, which is causing us diseases of the lungs, pulmonary diseases. So there is a direct relationship between import of coal, pollution and death, especially during a pandemic like COVID. So in addition to social distancing and sanitization, I think the bigger problem that the environment which is clean, I'm once again reminding you of a situation wherein a green state advertises that it is green, invites people from Delhi which is red and makes Goa red. Same can happen when it comes to coal. If you go to Delhi today, people of Delhi will pay you something if you give them, let's say, paying guest status in Goa. Because it's difficult to breathe there. So much is the pollution there. Either because of stubble burning or whatever. But today the situation in Delhi is you cannot breathe. And those people are being invited here. The same situation is being created, the same pollution here. So we are importing pollution from outside. Because we have a government that does not think. And we have a people that also are not willing to think. People are saying elections are there, we'll think later. Just like Delhi is thinking today. So basically, we have a situation when the government has irresponsibly also declared that they are opening up schools. Staggered way of opening, maybe for the 10th and the 12th standard. They say there will be only 12 students per class. I was just asking somebody yesterday, how will you manage these 12 students per class? I know Father Basil, we phoned him so many times requesting for admissions. He says, I'm filled up to the brink. Brink must be 70, not Father? 70 maybe, 60 or so 12 into 5, so one teacher's job will have to be done by 5 more teachers, 4 more teachers. So who's going to pay for those 4 more teachers when the grant-in-aid system works in a very different way? So who's going to advise the chief minister? I'm actually unable to understand all this. Who advises him? How are they going to play this? Why is the online education still not succeeding in Goa? Why do we still have bandwidth issues? When we have so many, we have invested so much, and even during the pandemic they have made an agreement with the UTL, which also stinks of corruption. So so many things are happening in Goa in the pandemic, using the pandemic as a cover, where the dissenting voices are not being allowed to speak, where questions cannot be raised in the assembly because the pandemic, no assembly. So you do whatever, there is power without responsibility. And that's the best a ruler can want. Especially, half-baked ruler is the present Goa's chief minister. It's the best thing that can happen to him. He has whole power and no responsibility, no accountability. Nobody asks him questions and he is not bound to answer any question. You go with people, he says there are prohibitory orders and he'll arrest you. The people elected to the house cannot question because there is no assembly session happening. You have a governor who is sitting in Bombay, not in Goa. See the situation, how Goa has been made into a colony of Delhi. What type of liberation are we talking of? How are these guys different than the Portuguese? Tell me. Portuguese at least gave us heritage. What are these guys doing? They are destroying the heritage. Sousa Lobo is a restaurant which is famous for our shack culture in Goa. It's the first restaurant for it, 1913. Today that restaurant has been demolished in night by goons, by a person who has been brought who has bought land on the side from Delhi. He's being protected by the government. There is no case of rioting being registered. This is the state of our heritage. You have a double tracking where you say that all the houses which are the old houses, let them go. What's the big deal? So this is a government that we have inherited. To some extent, I am also responsible for it, which would be the next question, which I think surely our Nelly would say. But the point is that when we reach a situation where we are looking at a second wave of this pandemic, in India they say it could happen between December to February. So we are on the brink of a second wave. We have not come out of the first wave already. We have not well off. They are testing less to show you less figures. But the number of people dying is not coming down. If everything is so well, good and everything is sound, how are people dying? See the age of the people who are dying. Not everybody is comorbid. They are just adding something there and saying it's comorbid. Young people are also dying. How are they dying? Who is responsible for this? So who is responsible is a big issue. I think the teachers, like all other citizens of the state, are having this COVID fatigue. I myself am bored wearing this mask. I look upon a time when I reach home and remove the mask. It becomes unbearable. I have never even dreamt in the worst of my nightmares that I would have to live with a mask. I was just thinking that, from where did this mask come? And this virus, but the mask is something very positive and it's very dangerous also. If you don't accept the mask, you can be like Trump. All said and done, Trump has gone down because he was against the mask. So you have to go by the mask however much you may hate it. And if you don't concede to the superiority of the mask in the present pandemic, 100% you will be like Trump. Now the point about the teachers who are the nation builders, you have been felicitated for being nation builders. In the state of Goa, you are being targeted. Somebody said that, swimming against the tide. One reference I think Basil was about swimming against the tide. So with different types of directives coming from the education department, I am sure that administrators and teachers who are leading are actually swimming against the tide. If asked by students what this whole thing is about, I am sure the teachers themselves are unaware of what the answers are. Because even for them, one would not be able to answer this illogical decisions coming from the government, which are changing by the day. If you've got a strong voice, you can make this government change any decision. Because this government doesn't think before deciding. And a ruler of whichever party may be, who does not think before deciding is a bad ruler. And we don't deserve such rulers. So I think we are in a situation where we want to come out of the lockdown. People have done this in haste, like in the UK, for example, where they've gone again into a lockdown. The entire Europe, Italy, Spain, the UK, France has gone back into the lockdown. So this is a pandemic. This is something which collective intelligence even cannot fight. It's not easy to fight this pandemic. You cannot just say that it is a virus made in China, fire bad words and then expect a solution. You cannot light diyas and find a solution. You cannot bang plates and bells on the balcony and get a solution. All this has been tried. And the Honorable Prime Minister has advised us. He is the best orator about nation building, how teachers are the creators of the people who are the pillars of the future and all that. He gives good speeches. Majority of the people in India are still carried away by the speeches. But I think Goa we are different. We will be able to actually decipher the lies that come as sugar-coated pills. And it is high time that teachers also take an active role in actually building up the future. and exposing the fraud that this government is. So I am sorry that I have gone a little off track, but this is the way I speak. I understand that Rotary Club of Margao Sunrise is known to be very proactive in issues that concern the public. Today's issue that concerns the public is that we are not proactive enough, and we have to involve more into who governs us and how they govern us. If we are not able to make our voices heard, then we are bound to fail, and we are not able to build a nation which you are actually planned for and for which you have been felicitated today and for which I congratulate you. So thank you very much for the guest.